Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and let's talk about some really exciting stuff going on about my first romance novel, which is The Pen Name Project. So as you probably can see, I look just a tad bit rough around the edges, even more than usual. And that is because I've been pretty under the weather since getting back from my vacation recently. This would usually be pretty minor, and most people would just assume, like, oh, did you get like a little sniffle? Did you catch like a little cold from somebody on the way home? No. I wish, Lord, do I wish. It was a full on stomach flu. And we assume it was probably actually norovirus, but there's no confirmation on that. We just highly suspect that's what it was. I got it from my husband, who also got it while we were in Alaska, right as we were trying to leave to get home. So rough around the edges would be a bit of an understatement. But I'll get a bit more into that in my next video, which is going to be like a writing travel vlog that I'm working on for all of that. So stay tuned for that, but I'll explain more there. So then you might be wondering, what is this a video about, if not that? Well, this video is going to be all about my first romance novel that I've mentioned before, which is The Pen Name Project. The last I'd really talked about it, though, it was when I did the blurb release and plug somewhere on screen for that video. This has been a bit of a tricky project for me to talk about with my YouTube stuff because I was well into the publishing, at least to some degree, process when I started posting on here. Plus, I haven't wanted to spoil too much without it being 100% ready to go and on the pipeline for release. Well, guess what? That time is now, dear friends, as the Pen Name Project is now officially on the publishing pipeline. I've got the interior formatting done. The book cover is complete, which I'll show you in a little while. And everything is submitted for copywriting and the publishing platforms that it'll be going on. So it's now a waiting game until I can give you the final piece of this whole little puzzle, which is the release date. Sadly, I don't have that just yet, but I'm hoping that sometime here soon I'll be able to announce the official release date, but stay tuned on that for a little bit later. What I can do in the meantime is talk a little bit more about my book and show you some of the character artwork that I had commissioned for this. And I'll give you a little glimpse at the final cover for my book, baby, which so excited. I'm going to put somewhere on screen me reacting to finally saying it for the first time, just to show you how excited I was. So let's start with more on the book itself. Yes, I've talked about the book before, which I'll again add the title card for that somewhere on this video, and a link I'll add in the description for the official Goodreads page that's been created for my book in case you want some more details. But let's talk about the plot of the book. And no, not the book plot that you'll get when it releases, but the OG plot when I first wrote the Pen Name Project. Let's talk a little bit more about that plot that I haven't really talked that much about. The main premise for the Pen Name Project was always around a fake dating experiment between Sam, who's the main character, and she's the writer, and her best friend, Charlie. I'll add the cute little character pieces on screen that I recently got for these two characters so that you have a better idea of what they look like, because I think they turned out so cute. So Sam is a strawberry blonde. She's tall like I am, and she has some freckles, while Charlie is much taller than she is, built like a linebacker, as I put it in the book, and has that kind of forever 5 o'clock shadow that just really looks good on a lot of guys. Like, I love it when my husband has one. It just chef's kiss. I love it when he has it. Now, something interesting that I haven't really talked publicly about with this book, like my beta readers know about it, but like obviously I haven't talked too much about it, and that's the fact that the plot has changed so dramatically from draft 1 to this final version. Like, the original conflict of the book didn't really even revolve directly around these two characters. It revolved around the character Angel, who in the version that you guys will hopefully read, she is Sam's best friend, other best friend, and she's also her literary agent. And in the original version of the story, however, Angel was a completely different character. She was still Sam's friend, but she wasn't an agent. And actually, I think she was a biologist who lived nearby with a larger group of friends that Sam and Charlie also shared together. that I had originally written into the story. And just overall, it was just the book was a completely different vibe, just completely different. It's pretty obvious after some of the other videos that I've posted lately about pantsing and plotting books that I tried to completely pants this book and it showed. I printed out the first draft of it, which I'll show you the binder over here on my shelf that I pulled just to show you guys. This is the first draft of the pen name project. I went and I printed it so that I could edit it and see what changes I needed to make. And I knew I needed to make some changes, but I genuinely didn't know how extensively I was going to need to edit it. But after the first read through, I genuinely hated it. I thought it was trash. I thought my writing was trash. And I thought I would need to hand deliver myself to the local dump so that I could take a dive in and just legitimately nix the entire thing as like a fun project that didn't end up really going anywhere. Put another clip on camera of me flipping through just how many tabs I have on this draft so you have an idea how many things I immediately knew I would need to fix. Even after the first read through, I knew I would have to fix it. So after a nice little cry session, I sat down thinking I had failed, but picked myself up and I started drafting a completely new draft with an entirely different plot, also pantsed. This draft removed the original conflict I had. It amped up the fake dating experiment, which honestly I should have focused on foremost in the first place anyway, but it kind of took a little bit of a backseat with all the other stuff. I added more dynamics to Charlie and Sam as characters. I scaled back some of the other characters I had in there, and I spiced it up a little bit more, added in a new subplot with Sam's family, namely around a cousin I had named Paul and her Aunt Emily. This was the version that I sent to my beta readers after a read through, thinking this version was exceptionally better. And it was, but it still needed some work. Some of the characters with this new little subplot that I'd added in with Sam's family, particularly with her cousin, didn't make a lot of sense to most of my beta readers. And that was the most consistent feedback that I got from them. So I went back to the drawing board again. And this time I decided to take out that conflict revolving around her cousin and turn that cousin character into a completely new character who I won't say too much on for spoilery reasons, but let's just say that he works out a lot better the way he is now to create that conflict that I initially wanted, but he works a lot better the way he is now. I also removed completely the extra friends altogether that I had in there. I scaled up Charlie and his family's relationships. I added more date-like things for Sam and Charlie to, create some more fun and pining moments between them. And I amped up the spice even more. When people say that writing a book is a journey, they really aren't kidding. I legit started with one book and ended up with a completely different book altogether. But I wouldn't change a single thing, honestly, about this process now that I have what I have. I absolutely love the book's plot now. Everything that was changed and added and tweaked and moved around, it all was completely worth it in the end. I wish I could say more about some of this, and I really do, but I have to be careful on exactly what I say because, again, like I've mentioned before, I'm still learning on where to toe the line on how much to talk about the books and stuff like all of my books, but I definitely want to talk about it more once the book is out. So I want to wait a little bit more to dive more deeply into that. But now, as you can see in the title, this whole video is centered around the very major and one exciting update for the pen name project, and that is I now have officially a book cover for this book. So without further ado, drum roll please. I don't have anything to drum roll, but here is the book cover for my very first novel, The Pen Name Project. Isn't it stunning? Oh my God, it's so pretty. I love it so much. My cover designer is an actual genius and was actually a recommendation to me from some of my friends in my NC Indie Discord that I'm a part of. And I will continue to forever work with her if she'll have me because, I mean, look at this. Look at how pretty it is. It's just, it turned out even better than I had hoped for. The original clip I showed on here, I actually filmed this little clip, which is my genuine reaction to seeing the book cover for the first time. I saw the final cover, and after some back and forth with my designer, that's what I got. And I gave her some initial notes on what I wanted, and despite the fact that this is a spicy romance novel, I wanted the cover to be a little bit more on the discreet side. But I wasn't entirely sure what I wanted exactly. But my cover designer was amazing. I basically just told her some of the major beats of the story and my frustration, that I wasn't entirely sure how to portray all of that on the cover in a way that I was imagining. And she basically gave me the, hold on, I got an idea. Give me a minute, boo. And bam, that is what she sent me. And I have been so over the moon with it that I've showed it to basically everyone in my personal life that I have possible. Every single person I know has seen this now in my personal life. And I honestly will probably continue to annoy them by continuously shoving it down their throat with how excited I've been about it. So now that we have a cover, where does that lead with this process for publishing this book? Well, the pen name project has been submitted for its copywriting, which technically isn't 100% needed, as in the US at least. Copyright is guaranteed to you immediately as the author. Like, you don't necessarily need the paperwork, but I like having the official paperwork on hand just to be safe in case of any piracy or anything like that. So it's also been submitted to the publishing platforms that I'll be using. So I'm waiting on getting my author proofs, which I'll show you those when they come in, to make sure that everything is sized correctly and printed well. And then I'll be able to officially set the release date. I have a tentative date in mind, but again, I just want to make sure everything is ready to go before I make the final call, if that makes sense. Like, I don't want to pull the trigger before it's actually ready to go out to you guys. So the only thing as of filming this video that is holding up the process is some issues I've had with Ingram Sparks, which womp womp. I've used them before for publishing Tosca, and my plan for this was to use them for the paperback edition of the pen name project while using Amazon KDP for the ebook edition. So that way I can take advantage of the Kindle Unlimited program while also having like a separate paperback edition. So it's kind of funny because both platforms sort of acknowledge one another, and that the authors tend to use both for their books. So they make the most of the process. Like they make it pretty fairly, I can't talk. They make it pretty seamless, I should say. The only thing currently going on is that I've submitted everything that I've needed to for Ingram Sparks for the paperback, but it's been stuck in and out of, processing. I've had to open support tickets to see what the holdup is for that. So stay tuned on that in the future. I guess we'll see where that leads us. Once I do get all of that settled, however, and I can set the date, I can then also set up the book for pre-ordering and all of that, which I'll probably do an entirely different video for that process on here. As I've said before, I'm still trying to figure out what you guys actually want to see and hear about with this process. Like, I find this stuff interesting because it takes like 9 million steps even after you've written the book. Like, you've already finished the book and it takes 9 million other steps in order to get that book into publishing, and that's mind-blowing to me. But let me know in the comments if that's something that you guys would want to see more of when that time comes, if what parts of the process interest you and all that kind of stuff. Just let me know in the comments. So yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. I know this is kind of like a little more chatty video, but I really hope you enjoyed today's video and are just excited as I am about everything with the pen name project. And I will see you guys in the next video. So see you guys.